Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and guidance of our spiritual master on Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And following, first we're also paying our obeisance to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has provided us this wonderful commentary and English translation of the text. And following the guidance of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, we are praying to Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has told us that unless we can understand something about Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī through our study of Bhagavatam, then our study has been for waste. Yadi sevā-vañcitāḥ syāma, yasyāḥ kṛpayā vayaṃ labhema, sarvaṃ prāpnumaḥ prayojanaṃ, dhāmni śrī-bhagavat pade, Kṛṣṇa-sambandhi sarvaṃ cha, Yadi na jānīmahe tutam, Aṣṭādaśasu sahasreṣu, ślokānāṃ bhāgavat-oktiṣu, Rādhārānīṃ na vindamatada, Nishphalam bhagavat yayinam, radhikaya kripam vina, vyartasyat sarva-pariśramaḥ. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham, and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, all of our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing our reading from Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 38. Karoti vishvastiti samyamodayam, yasyepshitam nepsitam ikshiturgunai, maya yatayo brahmate tadashrayam, gravno namaste guna karma sakshine. O Lord, you do not desire the creation, maintenance, or annihilation of this material world, but you perform these activities for the conditioned souls by your creative energy. Exactly as a piece of iron moves under the influence of a lodestone, inert matter moves when you glance over the total material energy. Purport. Sometimes the question arises why the Supreme Lord has created this material world, which is so full of suffering for the living entities entrapped in it. The answer given herein is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not wish to create this material world just to inflict suffering on the living entities. The Supreme Lord creates this world only because the conditioned souls want to enjoy it. The workings of nature are not going on automatically. It is only because the Lord glances over the material energy that it acts in wonderful ways, just as a lodestone causes a piece of iron to move here and there. Because materialistic scientists and so-called Sankhya philosophers do not believe in God, they think that material nature is working without supervision, but that is not the fact. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 6.18 through 19, the creation of the material world is explained as follows. Yadyapi Sankhya Mane Pradhan Karana. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Yadyapi Sankhya Mane Pradhana Karana, Jada Hoite Kabunahe Jagatri Jana, Nija Shristi Shakti Prabhu Sanchare Pradhane, Ishvarera Shaktita Behayeta Nirmane. Atheistic Sankhya philosophers think that the total material energy causes the cosmic manifestation, but they are wrong. Dead matter has no moving power, and therefore it cannot act independently. The Lord infuses the material ingredients with his own creative potency. Then by the power of the Lord, matter moves and interacts. Sea waves are moved by the air, and the air is created from the ether. The ether is produced by the agitation of the three modes of material nature, and the three modes of material nature interact due to the Supreme Lord's glance over the total material energy. Therefore, the background of all occurrences is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. This is also further explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 5.59 through 61. Jagat karana nahe prakriti jada rupa Shakti sanchariya tare Krishna kare kripa Krishna shakti prakriti haya gona karana Agni shakti loha yoiche karaye jarana Ataiva Krishna mula jagat karana Prakriti karana yoiche ajagalastana. Because Prakriti, material nature, is dull and inert, it cannot actually be the cause of the material world. Lord Krishna shows his mercy by infusing his energy into the dull, inert material nature. Thus Prakriti, by the energy of Lord Krishna, becomes the secondary cause, just as iron becomes red hot by the energy of the fire. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation. Prakriti is like the nipples on the neck of a goat, for they cannot give any milk. Thus, it is a great mistake on the part of the material scientists and philosophers to think that matter moves independently. Text 39. Pramatya daityam prati varanam ridhe yomam rashaya jagad adi shukara kritvagra damstre niragad udanvata kridan iveba pranatasmitam vibhum iti. My Lord, as the original boar within this universe, you fought and killed the great demon Hiranyaksha. Then you lifted me, the earth, from the Garbhodaka ocean on the end of your tusk. Exactly as a sporting elephant plucks a lotus flower from the water, I bow down before you. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Prayers Offered to the Lord by Residents of Jambudvipa. So this is now chapter 19. This is the summary for chapter 19. In this chapter, This chapter describes the glories of Bharatavarsha, and it also describes how Lord Ramachandra is being worshipped in the tract of land known as Kim-Purusha-varsha. The inhabitants of Kim-Purusha-varsha are fortunate because they worship Lord Ramchandra with his faithful servant Hanuman. Lord Ramchandra exemplifies an incarnation of Godhead who descends for the mission of Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam, Bhagavad Gita 4.8, protecting the devotees and destroying the miscreants. Lord Ramachandra exhibits the actual purpose of an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the devotees take the opportunity to offer loving transcendental service to him. One should fully surrender to the Lord, forgetting one's so-called material happiness, opulence, and education, which are not at all useful for pleasing the Lord. The Lord is pleased only by the process of surrender unto him. When Devarshi Narada descended to instruct Sarvani Manu, he described the opulence of Bharatavarsha, India. Sarvani Manu and the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha engage in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the origin of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and who is always worshipped by self-realized souls. In the planet known as Bharatavarsha, there are many rivers and mountains, as there are in other tracts of land. Yet Bharatavarsha has special significance because in this tract of land there exists the Vedic principle of Varnashram Dharma, which divides society into 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrams. Furthermore, Narada Muni's opinion is that even if there is some temporary disturbance in the execution of the Varnashram Dharma principles, they can be revived at any moment. The effect of adhering to the institution of Varnashram is gradual elevation to the spiritual platform and liberation from material bondage. By following the principles of Varnashram Dharma, one gets the opportunity to associate with devotees. By such association gradually awakens one's dormant propensity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and frees one from all the basic principles of sinful life. One then gets the opportunity to offer unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. Because of this opportunity, the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha are praised even in the heavenly planets. Even in the topmost planet of this universe, Brahmaloka, the position of Bharatavarsha is discussed with great relish. All the conditioned living entities are evolving within the universe in different planets and different species of life. Thus one may be elevated to Brahmaloka, but then one must again descend to earth as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartinarjuna, Bhagavad Gita 8.16. If those who live in Bharatavarsha rigidly follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma and develop their dormant Krishna consciousness, they need not return to this material world after death. Any place where one cannot hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from realized souls, even if it be Brahmaloka, it is not very congenial to the living entity. If one who has taken birth in the land of Bharatavarsha as a human being does not take advantage of the opportunity for spiritual elevation, this position is certainly the most miserable. In the land known as Bharatavarsha, even if one is sarva-kama bhakta, a devotee and seeking the fulfillment of some material desire, he is freed from all material desires by his association with devotees, and ultimately he becomes a pure devotee and returns home back to Godhead without difficulty. At the end of this chapter, Sri Shukadeva Goswami describes to Maharaj Parikshit the 8 sub-islands within the island of Jambudvipa. So thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 1 on Monday. So, were there any comments or anything to share before we conclude? So we're getting into one of the most popular parts of the Bhagavatam in the current Krishna consciousness movement in the world, where the descriptions of the earth and the cosmos are described in detail from the perspective of the Bhagavat, and much of which seems to be in contrast to modern science's assessment of the cosmos. So there's a lot of devotees who have tried to work on reconciling the two, or explaining why they're not reconcilable. So it'll be interesting for us to read through it ourselves, and by Krishna's arrangement, I don't know what's going to come from it, but so that's all. Okay. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Tirtha Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Today is, let me make sure I have this right. I believe it's the appearance day of, let me just double check. Today is the 17th. Yeah, the appearance day of Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami. So, this is our Bhagavatam class here. So we should point out, recently, a very nice devotee named Swami Padmanabha from South America. He lives in, I believe, I think he travels a lot, but he stays in an ashram called Ananda Ashram in North or South Carolina. And he started doing Bhagavatam classes on his YouTube channel. He's much more qualified than I am to actually give very in-depth classes and go at a very appropriate pace and relate it to people's different life circumstances and very sophisticated and compassionate, empathetic way. So these are the Bhagavatam classes I started listening to a couple days ago, and I think he does one a week. It's about an hour, plus Q&A at the end, so maybe an hour and a half. And just as in the beginning of our classes that Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj wanted us to acknowledge what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said about Rādhārānīṃ and Bhagavatam, your class is wasted unless you acknowledge something. You can learn something about Rādhārānīṃ through Bhagavatam. So I noticed that in Swami Padmanabha's classes on Bhagavatam, he was giving emphasis to Gadadhar Pandit, whose appearance day is today. Gadadhar Pandit is one of the 5 associates of Mahaprabhu, called the Panchatattva. Panchatattva means the 5 truths or 5 associates of, right, including Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit. So Swami Padmanabha was giving glorification to Gadadhar Pandit as the best Bhagavatam reciter, because he would read it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while they were in Jagannath Puri during the last portion of Mahaprabhu's manifest pastimes on earth 500 years ago. And Mahaprabhu would be crying as Gadadhar Pandit read the Bhagavatam. And Gadadhar Pandit, just like Mahaprabhu is Krishna in Kali Yuga, Gadadhar Pandit is Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī, an aspect of Śrīmatī Rādhārāṇī in Kali Yuga. So by glorifying Gadadhar Pandit in relation to Bhagavatam, we're also connecting with Rādhārāṇī and how she is connected to Bhagavatam in more hidden ways. It's not direct. Her name is never discussed in Bhagavatam, but there are so many connections. The whole Bhagavatam is about ultimately glorifying her devotion to Krishna, her mood of the highest Madhurya Rasa. So, anyhow, I was remembering Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day today, and that made me think of Swami Padmanabha's Bhagavatam reading and how he was glorifying Gadadhar Pandit as the best Bhagavatam reader. So that's a nice place to end for today. And that is all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.